Hey, just a little disclaimer before I begin. This video was recorded on a previous night and says some things about Lizzietheratcicle. Now, during the making of this video, she offered apologies for her past immature behavior to a few people. So with that in mind, I want to say that a lot of my statements towards Lizzie's behavior in this video are null and void now. This was written before she made her apologies. With that out of the way, this video still holds up as a guideline on how not to respond to criticism, but a lot of what I have to say about Lizzie might not hold up now. Lizzie has definitely been making a more clear effort to improve both her work and her ability to take criticism. Now that we all know this, let's move on to the video. Hey guys, so Throckmorton here. I'm in the process of making a video essay on good writing in your YouTube skits, but before that, I want to talk a little about handling criticism and responding to it, distinguishing constructive criticism from malicious criticism. Now, recently, as I'm sure a good amount of you are aware, there's been a little bit of controversy recently involving a couple of Gary's Mod animators. One, a pick surprise, offered constructive criticism to the other, Lizzietheratcicle, and her fan base just flipped their shit. And it was not malicious criticism, it was constructive criticism. And yet, they responded very poorly to it. So I'm going to discuss a little bit in detail how one can respond to criticism, improve their works, and not have whatever that little meltdown was. First things first, criticism, as long as it offers insight on how to improve what you've created, is inherently constructive and worthy of your analysis. Doesn't matter how harsh it is. It doesn't matter what kind of names they call you, what their choice of words was. If it includes any insight on how to improve your work, and I mean any at all, you need to look at it and ask yourself a few things. Is this a problem I should fix? Is it an issue I'm able to reasonably work on bettering? For example, Pick was pretty blunt and candid with his critique of Lizzie's animation style, but he offered a pretty hefty amount of objective, well-measured points that Lizzie could have used to improve her animation. Or at least she should have used them to improve her animation. But it's quite evident that she's a prime example of how not to take criticism. Second, even compliments could be used to improve your work. If somebody really likes this one element of your work, would it not be reasonable to assume that if you worked on bettering it, they would like it even more, and that they would keep coming back to watch your content again? And let's examine another point that ties pretty close to this one. You should never use the compliments you receive as an excuse to ignore criticism. Lizzie is evidently a huge committer of this rather shameless pitfall. From what I could piece together from the remnants of the shitstorm, friends and admirers gave her endless ass-pats, which she then used as reason to dodge and ignore Pick's criticism. Third, always realize that people who offer you criticism will be your most valuable assets in the end of things. It will never improve if you surround yourself in a bubble of smiling, nodding fan children. The people who tell you how to improve are the people who will make you become better. Lizzie has seldom improved the quality of her work over the course of her career. You want to know why that is? She blocks people who dare to criticize the quality of her work. She heeds the word of her zombified fan children. She elects not to improve and only appeal further to the lowest common denominator, since that juicy fame and ad revenue is far more valuable than creative integrity, I suppose. And most importantly, the thing I consider to be the absolute golden rule of accepting criticism, don't make a shit show of criticism, whether it's malicious or constructive. This only ruins your reputation and integrity as a content creator. You create an unnecessary scene, an excess of drama, and just all around you bring stress to everybody involved. If it's constructive criticism, and it cuts a little too deep for you to handle, then the dumbest thing to do is throw a punch back and not expect the critical party to swing back harder. Imagine that would make it a little painful for you, right? It's criticism that offers utterly nothing of value, which is pretty rare, mind you, then just ignore it and move on. Easy. Well, that wraps up how to take criticism, and I'm sorry it was so short, but this was done mostly on a whim. I have a much bigger project in store for you guys in the coming few weeks, so stay tuned for that. Niftyrobo and I have some other projects planned in the near future, so be sure to check them out if you want to see more of our work. Bye-bye.